Hey kiddos, it's your dad here. So, in case I get hit by a bus, I wanted to let you know that I don't think that you should go to college. I think that the American dream is dead, um, that we are being sold a lie to live a certain way, and that if you do these specific steps, that you will achieve your desired outcome. And, now I know that life is not linear in that way. It doesn't if it's not just like you say, "Oh, if I do this thing, then my life would turn out so differently and all of these things would fall into place and then I would achieve this lifestyle." I know that that's a regret that many people have when they um, are on their deathbeds. Like in Staring at the Sun or Being Mortal, different books, Man's Search for Meaning, different books that talk about death. There's typically a regret of not taking action and not doing this thing. So many people think, oh, well, if I had just gotten that master's degree, or if I had just gotten my doctorate, if I had just gone to this university, if I had just taken this job, then my life would be completely different and I would have been able to be successful and be happy and have this house and marry this person and do these things. And life doesn't work that way. That is a lie that schools, that the education, that the system sells you to believe, so that way you think that life is this linear progression, that if you do these exact steps you will achieve this result, which is just not the case. Which is why I'm saying don't go to college. I do have a caveat with that, and that if you want to go to college, it's under certain conditions. And again, maybe I'm dead, so I can't enforce these, but um, and I joke about that. I like to joke about in case I get hit by a bus, because you just never know. I could wake up tomorrow and then I'm not here. But I'll stand by these words of my death. If you want to go to college, don't take out any debt. Um, there's scholarships that you can apply for. Maybe you want to go to college on a sports scholarship. You better get really good at sports. You better really love sports and really want to do that. Maybe it's an education-based college, education-based scholarship. You got to be really smart. You got to really love learning. You got to really be disciplined. Both of those things was not how I went about it. I did take some college, um, but that was after joining the military. Because when you're in the military will actually pay for you to go to college. It's called tuition assistance, separate from the GI Bill. So tuition assistance, they'll give you typically $4,000 a year, and all of the branches do this, including the Coast Guard. And while you're active duty, and I believe that also you can do this while you're on the reserves. It might just be a little bit different, but I know that when you're active duty, because I was, they'll give you that $4,000 so you can go to school. And I did that to be able to get my associate's degree, and I started doing my bachelor's degree with tuition assistance. It's very easy. The process is very simple, and it doesn't affect your GI Bill. So what you can do is you can do, let's say, 4 years in the military, use your tuition assistance, get your bachelor's degree, and then you can leave the military, and then you have your master's degree, and then you have your GI Bill, and you can use that for your master's degree. And then there's other types of scholarships that you can get, like the Yellow Ribbon Program, like the Yellow Ribbon Program. I believe that applies if you're going to school in Texas and you become a Texas resident. There's also other different types of scholarships for military veterans and all of these things. So you don't need to pay for college, and you can even there's even programs in the military where you can get paid while active duty to go to college. You can you can get your master's degree, your bachelor's degree paid for while getting paid in the military. Like, that's your full-time job. Your full-time job is to go to school. You get paid while doing school, and then you go back to you get assigned a new job, and then you do this thing. So if you want to become a doctor, if you want to become an astronaut, if you want to become an attorney, if you want to get into cybersecurity, IT work, all of these things are possible. I know when you're in the military, and they'll pay for that education, and then you also get the GI Bill, and you also have tuition assistance. So there's no excuse. There's zero excuse unless you have some medically disqualifying things that prevents you from joining the military, that would prevent you from being able to do that. But there's also people that have disabilities. That's big. There's also people that have disabilities that have been able to get scholarships, by overcoming these disabilities and being able to go to school because that was something that they were genuinely passionate about, whether that be sports scholarships or academic scholarships or other types of scholarships from independent scholarships. Maybe it's not even like the university itself giving the scholarship. Maybe it's just a scholarship program that you can apply for that will pay for your education. There's so many options out there. I don't want you to think that you have to follow this linear path that maybe your teachers or other people say, which is you have to get straight A's in high school. You have to end with a perfect 4.0 4.5, 4.0 GPA. That you need to then go to an expensive university at a top tier university so you can get an expensive job. And then once you get that expensive job, then you'll be able to climb up the corporate ladder and you'll be able to afford and live this nice white picket fence American dream lifestyle. And like that's not true. Things are rapidly changing, especially now with things like AI, with how the economy is going, and different jobs have different needs. There's different needs, what you might be studying, and then not even. That's not even counting your interest change over time. I've changed my interest so many times that if I started paying for college when I first left high school to now, 10, 11, 12 years later or whatever, I would have been so in debt because I would have changed so many things. Accounting, I've tried accounting. I wanted to be a marine biologist. I did IT. I did cybersecurity. I did all these different things, and I was, and I was paying for college, when I was in the military through tuition assistance, and that's how I was able to see, like, I don't like college. I don't need college. I don't want college. And I didn't, because I was able to achieve where I'm at right now, which is financial independence, financial freedom, and living life on my own terms. We're living in Colombia right now, and we're planning on moving to Japan, and I'm trading full time, and we have real estate income and online business income, and I get to spend all my time at home, and I don't have a boss, and these are all things that is not normal in the typical American dream, but that's because I wasn't listening to what everybody was saying, which is the things that you have to do if you want to be successful. So, there's so many other jobs and so many other opportunities, and it all comes down to not just listening to what you're being told, unless it's from me. You listen to what I'm saying. I'm joking, half-heartedly. But there's so many ways, but it all comes down to are you doing something that feels aligned with you? Because maybe you really want to go to college. Go to college, but just do it in a smarter way than just taking out debt, and do it in a smarter way than just maybe doing what you see people do and what you think is successful. Question everything. Question everything. Question your own intentions. Question your own curiosity. Don't just take everything for face value, because there's typically an agenda tied to what is being sold to you, or what you're being made to believe. I just hear another. I just saw the lightning, but if you want to become a plumber, go become a plumber if that's what you really want to do. If you want If you want to join the military, join the military. If you want to make a career out of the military for 20 years, do that. But if you don't want to anymore, don't do that. Um, yes, there are a lot of benefits if you retire, like the pension, but um, there's many other means that you could do. For me, it was I got into real estate. I got into online business. Uh, I didn't want to stay in the U.S. I wanted to move around and see other countries. Um, these are all things that I wanted because I was curious. Your mom and I were curious. Um, so again, there's no linear path. You have to listen to what your body is telling you, what feels right, what's aligned with your values. And again, I have other videos where I've talked about like how do you find out your values and how do you listen to that calling in in your heart, in your body, your soul. How do you find your purpose? How do you pick a passion? How do you do these things? You know, but there is this image, this this lifestyle of this linear path, this American dream, and it is a lie because life is not this linear path. Life is ups and downs and diagonal and yeah, inside out, um, disappear and then reappear. That's just it's the way that life works, and on that path you'll pick up a bunch of different things in life, and then you'll have, if you aren't just following somebody else's path, you'll have this beautiful life that you can be proud of at the end, and you can say, as Frank Sinatra says, I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? That's a good song. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he is not to say the words he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. So it's true. You have to do it your way. Um, because if you don't, then you'll end up in one of these books and you'll be saying, well, what if I did this thing? Uh, my biggest regret in life is that I should have gotten that other degree. I heard that one in a book. I was like, what? That's shocking. Your biggest regret in life is that you didn't go for your master's degree. Because life doesn't work that way. So, that's it.